Hey, James Bond, we're still talking about it here on the franchise with your host, upon the ones and the twos, the D train. Oh, wait, I haven't been doing this for Bond. The D7. Daniel Ehrenberg. And over here, HP, Henry Papali. We're here covering two James Bond movies, diametrically opposed in quality and identical in plot. Let's do it.
Very, very true. Welcome, everybody. 007 over here. It's Hank, licensed to chill.
Yep. Keep that up. Keep going, brother.
I've had a long day.
Hey,
puns are flying.
I'll get you back on puns are not fine, as I learned watching these movies this week.
I said they're flying. I said the puns are flying.
They are flying. Hey, happy birthday to Henry. We're recording this on the date of his 41st birthday.
42, but thank you for...
Is that true?
Yeah, 42, man.
Good Lord.
I know.
They call that the old Jackie Robinson.
You want to say something funny? I looked last year on our feed. I was curious what we were, and we recorded a show on my birthday last year. Guess what it was?
What was it?
3 Men and a Baby.
What a classic episode. They got in trouble with some gangsters while raising a child. I don't remember much about those movies, to be honest.
I remember zero about Little Lady, but...
there was a ghost.
But, you know, this is nice that this fell on my birthday. My beloved James Bond franchise. This is a nice little coinky-dink.
Boy, these James Bond movies, I gotta tell you...
They're a good time, is what they are.
This is a pretty bad franchise. I mean, I get it. It's James Bond. We're doing a show called The Franchise, and, like, James Bond is the fucking franchise. Like...
They are the AC/DC of movies.
Would you stop it? It has nothing to do with AC/DC. It's just your birthday and you wanted an excuse to say AC/DC.
That might be true, but it also is true that I've always thought that. You always know what you're going to get. They vary in quality.
You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get, Henry. This is a big problem I have with these movies. They're obsessed with doing everything like that's going on in the world at that time.
Well,
they want to reflect fads, but they're always like 3 years behind on everything.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the case with our second feature film.
It's the case with the fucking first one, too. And
really?
The two last week.
Well, the two last week for sure. I didn't notice it in The Spy Who Loved Me, but all right.
Are you kidding me? 4 seconds into this thing, we're skiing, we're disco dancing.
Oh, well, that's true. The disco soundtrack is hardcore.
This came out the same year as Saturday Night Fever, Henry. This is no coincidence.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a fair point.
Thank you. Thank you for attempting at least to talk into the microphone.
I never used to... We was never this close. I mean, now we're getting an extreme here. Yeah, we've had a couple of
complaints,
listeners, and they're totally right. They're totally right. But it used to be the case that I was too close, so I was always trying to back off a little bit.
It's never been the case you're too close.
No, you just never engineer me properly. You know, it's a case of
engineer you properly. Yeah, you're in New Jersey. There's only so much I can do.
I need my levels put up.
I'm recording you properly. Your volume is up to you.
My volume is max, man. It's the max on this little Audio Technica.
Spy Who Loved Me. Let's talk about it. I don't know who the spy is. I don't know who the lover is. It's a meaningless title, as they all are. Has any Bond title meant anything since Goldfinger?
Well, Thunderball was because it was Operation Thunderball.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that one.
You have me now. You have me at "You Only Live Twice." I mean, that's Blofeld says that. Donald Pleasance says
meaningless.
That. Meaningless. Yes. Diamonds are forever.
Meaningless. It means nothing. They're just words.
on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Stop it.
He is on Live and Let Die. That doesn't,
It's just a song.
Man with the Golden Gun. It is.
All right, that's a guy with a golden gun. But it's because it's a book title.
It's a poor ratio. You're right. Of meaningless to meaningful.
They suck. They're still doing it today.
It's the best titles ever. I love them.
No Time to Die. I mean, I get it. They sound cool, but they're nothing.
It'd be great if they just at some point just they admitted they were just out of steam, and like the next one, instead of No Time to Die, they were just like, let's just call it Ain't Got Time to Bleed.
No, but I know they are out of steam, Henry, because they're out of titles when they throw a die on there.
Yeah.
Tomorrow Never Dies, Die Another Day, License to Kill, whatever.
Or let's just call it one of the spoof ones. Let's call it a Fleming original, Casino Royale. Let's just go back to that.
Well, yeah, we did do that when we rebooted, which we'll get to.
Look what they do when they try to be very original. They get Quantum of Solace.
I don't understand what that was either.
Yeah, I don't either.
I've never understood this franchise.
You think it too much.
This franchise doesn't make sense. Their director choices don't make sense to me. Their casting doesn't make sense to me. Their fad obsession is repulsive to me. I mean, and they don't even fit into a genre. All the people are asking for from these movies are like bullshit spy movies. Why am I in space this week?
I mean, that's a question you're going to have to answer for yourself. I don't know. I have thoughts. I have thoughts on Moonraker for sure.
Well, let's start with The Spy Who Loved Me, man.
Yeah.
We've got new old director, because that's what we do in this fucking franchise. Anytime they like, oh wow, we don't know who the director of the new one is. Let's get creative. No, let's get a guy who directed one 10 years ago.
It's a formula. They're a family. They like to give
Martin Campbell. That's our exciting new choice.
He did Casino Royale.
That worked out against all odds, Henry.
Okay.
The director of Green Lantern.
That came after.
I know. Soon after. The Spy Who Loved Me, we have Lewis Gilbert. He had previously done You Only Live Twice, which is one I love. The big Donald Pleasance Blofeld episode with Bond and Yellowface. And
jeez, I forgot about that.
How could you? It's all I remember. Now, Richard Maybaum, the old hand, he stuck around to write, but Lewis Gilbert brought in his own man, Christopher Wood. I mean, do you know anything about him? He mostly wrote porno.
Oh, boy. Okay. That makes sense. He's a British guy. He's a British fella.
Yeah. Some of his other films based on his own novels include Confessions of a Summer Camp Counselor and Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse.
Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse.
That's right.
Oh, I would put that on my watch list.
Does sound pretty good.
Wait, is that real?
That's real. He wrote the novel and the screenplay.
Are you looking at the poster right now on Wikipedia?
No, I'm not.
It's fun to be in bed with a nurse like Rosie.
I bet it is.
Wow.
Did she use the latex gloves?
A new student nurse arrives at a hospital, attracting interest from the staff with comic.
Oh, boy. I bet there's sponge bath scenes.
Softcore sex comedy.
Yeah, so that's our new writer. He was brought in specifically for this film.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, who better to write a love story? Released July 13th, 1977. Were you born at this point?
No.
Okay.
If you can do the math, it was July 21st, 1978.
Okay, great. An enormous budget of $13.5 million, about double what the last one cost. Yeah. We're going all in. We're trying to save the franchise with this movie, Henry. Remember, Man with the Golden Gun was kind of a failure.
It was a disappointment, right? Yeah. Well, they did it.
They did. It made $185.4 million. It came in at number 7 at the American box office, Henry. Right there between Jacqueline Bisset in The Deep and George Burns and Oh God, we really had our priorities straight.
I never saw The Deep.
Nor have I, but I would love to, frankly. It's an underwater movie, which I basically love all of.
Who didn't somebody
except for Thunderball?
Yeah. Didn't somebody of note direct The Deep?
Sure. I'm going to say Truffaut.
What about The Keep? That's Michael Mann.
The Deep. I'm going to look it up right now.
I thought it was.
Nick Nolte's in it, by the way. It's Peter Yates. You're right. He's a guy. The guy who made Bullet and Breaking Away and shit.
That's right.
All right. Spielberg was considered to direct. They approached him on the set of Jaws, like post-production on Jaws, and he was like, no.
But see, that's interesting. I read that too, and I mean, this is post-production on Jaws, so they hadn't even hit theaters yet. So
they knew what they had with fucking Jaws. Well, I mean, how is it going to help this guy to direct a shitty Bond movie with Roger Moore?
I don't know. He's just starting out. I mean, that's a major gig for an up-and-coming director.
The guy who made Jaws. Listen, if I'm Steven Spielberg, they come to you. You're like, hey, do you want to make the new Bond movie? I say, do you have Sean Connery? They say no. I say no.
Yeah, they go, what if it's Lazenby? They go, no, definitely not.
All right. That was just a shot at me. Guy Hamilton was signed to make this film, Henry, and he left to go make Superman the movie, which he was eventually let go from in favor of Richard Donner.
I wonder how that went. I wonder if they let him go.
I think we talked about it at the time. Go back and listen to that episode, and you'll hear us talk about it, Henry.
Yeah, I don't want to, but the listeners should. The listeners should.
No, that's a good episode. You just don't want to listen to us talk about the later ones.
No. It's just time-consuming. That's all I meant.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. What do we have here? Hey, you want to go through some awards that this film won and was nominated for?
If we start with the Academy Awards, that would be wonderful.
We can do that if you'd like.
All right. For my birthday, let's see what ad we get.
Hamilton.
Yeah, that's great. So glad. Okay, here we go.
You better lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. It's nominated for Best Score. John Barry. Having real fun with some disco dancing.
He got a nomination for Best Score?
Yeah, for this silly bullshit. And he lost to John Williams for the Star Wars. Yep. Carly Simon nominated for Best Song for, what's it called? Nobody Does It Better?
Nobody Does It Better.
Yeah. If you ever want to hear Brittany Murphy sing that song, you could watch her classic film, Little Black Book.
I don't want to hear that. God.
You'll be loving every second.
By the way, I you guys who are veteran listeners,
Carly does a cameo in that movie.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Well, but the non-veteran listeners should know that clearly Dan and I have established the first podcast with a Carly Simon fan club.
We love Carly Simon. You're right. I mean, mostly on the Patreon, but I'm obsessed with Working Girl now, so so I talk about Let the River Run, the greatest movie song of all time, perhaps.
Right. And maybe this is the second one.
No.
I mean,
how could you say that?
I love this song. It's going to be my wedding dance.
That's ridiculous.
It's always been there for that.
You've had that in your head?
Yeah.
God, this poor woman you're going to marry.
I've considered the fact that it might not be her choice, but
that's okay. I have a wedding thing that I've brought up with every girl I've ever dated, Henry, and it's only ever gone over like once.
November Rain?
I've told you about this?
Many times. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to walk down the aisle at my wedding before the bride to the third guitar solo from November Rain. See, it's gonna.
That's reasonable. It's just the third guitar.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
wanna-
No. Here's what's gonna happen. The lights are gonna go down. All right, turn all the lights off. I'm behind some 2 doors, right, that open. Okay.
Okay.
Then when the lights go down, it starts that part like dum 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 ga da da ga dum dum da da dum 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 da da dum dum dum, and then right when right when that kicks in,
Yeah.
I kick the doors open, lights come up, there I am.
And now the groomsmen, presumably me, Nathaniel, will be up. Or are we just going to be
The other ones know who they are, I would say.
Right. Well, that could be awkward. Are we standing in the?
I think
now
you're already up there.
We're already up there. I don't know what kind of ceremony you're having. Now, presumably in the video, it's
Church ceremony,
Christian.
very formal.
You're Jewish, but we're not going to be in a synagogue.
I assume I'm not marrying a Jew, right?
I never assumed that.
I don't know. I've only dated like 2. Everyone else has been shixes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, regardless, it can be a set. It doesn't have to be an actual church.
No, it's got to be a real church with a priest.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not going for the entire song of November Rain. I was under that impression.
No, just like the last like 3 minutes or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't need all those like bullshit lead up like teaser guitar solos.
Right. Yeah. See, well, I just want the Nobody Does It Better on the dance floor. You know, it's going to be our first song.
It's such a weird song because like it's called Nobody Does It Better. It starts off with this Bond thing, like the lights go down, it's all blue and spy and sexy and shit. And like you think the song's like Nobody Does It Better, like nobody's a cooler fucking spy. But it's really not.
No.
It's just a very beautiful love song.
Well,
I don't even think it is sex. I think it's like nobody fucking writes out the cards as nice as yours.
Right. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad.
Ooh, by the way,
Forward
Nobody
Press.
Does It Better would be a good song for Hallmark commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
okay.
think? How come we haven't used this song more in commercials?
It's probably not licensed. I'm sure that's an expensive song to get. It's probably owned by the fucking Broccoli's.
Guns N' Roses got Live and Let Die.
Yeah, I wonder how long it took to get that
It all comes back to
wrangled up.
Axl, bro. It all
Wrangled
comes back
that.
to Use Your Illusion.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Henry, can I hear perhaps another theme?
Yes. What theme would you like to hear?
Any of them.
It's the Henry birthday extravaganza. You can play whatever you want. Well, what was it nominated? What do you want to hear?
Golden Globe, BAFTA, AFI. It's on all of them.
Oh my, here we go. Surprise.
The British Academy of Film, Television, and Arts. BAFTA.
Yeah. It was nominated for a couple BAFTAs. It
That's
was
good.
It was nominated for Best Music, which is what they call Best Score over there, I guess.
Yes.
And it lost to A Bridge Too Far.
Oh my.
And it was nominated for Production Design, Henry, but it lost to Federico Fellini's Casanova.
I've never even heard of that.
It's minor, Fellini. Henry, let's hear that Golden Globes theme.
It's the GGs, the Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press, mostly French.
Yep, score again. John Barry, they loved his stupid disco score.
You know what I think it is? I think, and you've seen this happen in movies before. In Oscars and nominated, they're taking the song, and they're just like so in love with that song. They're just like, that's just part of the score. That's totally what this is. They're doing that, man, because there's nothing in this score. You know,
I just think
the
that the
song
movie
is
got
carryover.
good reviews. and so they consider it for awards shows. Like, John Barry can do the same score in like 20 different movies, and the one that's best reviewed, that's the one that he'll get nominated for.
I mean, that's possible too. I like the score. I think it's good.
Great.
I love that skiing scene. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
He lost to Williams again for Star Wars.
Fair enough.
And nominated for song, but it lost to. Oh, you know what? I didn't finish the Oscars before, Henry. I'm so sorry.
Great job.
Okay. Anyway, but for the Oscars and the Golden Globes, it lost Best Song to "You Light Up My Life."
God.
And that comes from the movie "You Light Up My Life." I didn't even know that was from a movie.
Who could forget that movie?
Look at this movie. It stars Didi Cohn, who played, of course, Frenchie in Grease and Grease 2.
Yeah.
I mean, what a nothing movie this is.
That's too bad. Carly got robbed.
She really did.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Back to the Oscars. It was also nominated for Best Production Design, and it lost to Roger Christian for Star Wars. And I only know that the name is Roger Christian because I know that he later directed the movie Battlefield Earth.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the production design on this movie is pretty fucking impressive, but Star Wars is obviously going to get that, and it should.
Did you hear that weird story about the huge villain set that the cinematographer was like going blind and he didn't know how to light it?
Yeah.
And they brought in fucking Stanley Kubrick to like take a look at it?
I love that. That's so bizarre. And I love that Kubrick did it. Of course, though, you read they had to sneak him on because
he was like King Brit at this point, though. Like he was like the head of British film.
This is post Barry Lyndon. Right after Barry Lyndon, he would have been coming on here. So, yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah, I bet I knew you would, Henry. Let's hear that AFI theme.
All right, I can make that happen for everyone.
AFI.
Yep, nobody does it better.
Thank you.
Than the AFI.
Oh,
and that song is they deemed the 67th best song in movies.
Out of what? 68?
Out of 100.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Should be higher. Should be higher.
I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised it made the list.
Hey, you're a big fan of the song.
I love the song. I love Carly, but I don't feel like this is a song that's talked about much.
No, it's not, and wrongly so. Mr. Let the River Run. Gunk, dunk, dunk,
is that on the list? It should be.
Come later.
Coming to the edge, coming to the water, coming to the edge, my sons and daughters. All right. Agent Triple X.
Barbara Bach.
Agent Jerk Off in Public. Agent Porn Movie.
Yeah.
Agent Fuck Film. Let's talk about her.
Wait, that's what we're starting with?
Yeah. She, well, because that opening scene surprised me, Henry. It's a clever inversion of what they usually do on this show, in this franchise. I mean, not on this show.
I don't correct you.
But they had like a sexy man and a lady in bed together, and you think like he's a spy,
right?
But then it turns out she's the spy and he's the hot piece of ass.
Well, they're both spies, but sure.
Wait, no, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's a Russian agent who Bond kills in the first scene.
Oh, man, that's so much less interesting. They should have just had it...
You thought he was just like her lay for the night?
I like these inversions. One of my favorite openings of any TV show ever is the pilot of Freaks and Geeks, where it starts with like a couple on the bleachers having this very melodramatic conversation, and they look sort of like Dawson and Joey from Dawson's Creek, because that's what was popular at the time. And then the camera slowly starts to ignore them and pans below the bleachers where James Franco and the gang are like smoking. And I love that shit. And so I thought it would be a clever opening for this movie. But I guess we're not doing anything interesting with gender in 1977.
No, but it is an inversion in that you obviously think you're going to see James Bond first in the sex scene. And
I didn't give a fuck about that. I just, I saw this dude. I assumed he's a spy. And then she's revealed to be a spy. That's interesting to me. But I guess I didn't think about it. Yeah, he's the fucking skiing guy that Bond killed.
That's right. With his bullet ski pole.
Yeah. All right. So we're in Austria. Bond, we meet him. He's trying to fuck somebody. This doesn't get shag count, though, right? He doesn't.
Oh, yes, it does.
Does he fuck her?
Yeah, this is post-coital.
Oh, that's right. This is when M or whoever tells him, tell him to pull out immediately.
Yeah, right. He's got the watch, the Bond watch that gives him like a fucking ticker tape saying 007 report to such and such right away. And that is correct, though. He goes, Moneypenny, where's Bond? I love how he's just always instantly pissed, even at Moneypenny. All she does is say, he's in Austria, sir. And he's like, well, tell him to pull out.
Q's a little too ornery in this fucking movie. M, whatever.
Will you get some hype, positive energy going here? It's not M whatever. It's important.
I think that M is too hard on Bond in this movie.
Well, it's kind of his
I
thing.
don't feel like he's like occasionally mistrusting Bond in this movie. I'm like, you've been on so many missions together. You can trust this guy.
He's going to come through, M.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So actually that does count. So here we go, folks.
James Bond, shall we do a shag count?
Yeah.
1.
That's 1. We're at 1.
Yeah.
That's a running tally.
Right. Okay, so they ski, and I enjoyed the stunt of him skiing off the cliff and then parachuting.
It's
Pretty
awesome.
good. Pretty
It's awesome.
good.
Yeah, I mean, you know why I like that beginning, dude? It's not very long. Like I haven't watched this movie in a while, but I have seen it a lot. It's the only Roger Moore movie I ever had on VHS, and I watched it a lot. But I forgot that. I guess I was thinking that scene was really, really long, and it's not. It's like
it's really short.
Quick. Yeah, it's quick. It's a quick fire opening. He skis down the hill. You get some disco music. He kills a guy with a skiing pole with ammo in it, and then he just flies right off the thing. Real stunt.
Yeah,
very cool. And then the British flag pulls out as the parachute.
Amazing.
It's cool. It's very cool.
I was thinking about how now in big summer blockbusters, usually like the big moments are determined by special effects. Like they're going to do something with special effects that you've never seen before, and it's going to like blow your mind or whatever. And I was thinking, like, have we run out of like just cool stunts that we haven't seen before? Because they keep doing shit like that in these movies. Like that weird corkscrew boat thing was interesting.
Yeah,
even though they ruined it with the slide whistle. And this like parachute thing is fucking awesome. Like I can't even believe they pulled it off. So much so that in the opening credits, did you see like they credited just the dude?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, it says, like, the credits, like, the awesome stunt you just saw was done by this guy.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to risk my life jumping off a Canadian mountaintop, I would like to get some credit for my kids, at least, so they can see what Dad did before he died.
At the very fucking least. Are you kidding me? Although the kids, I think about these stuntmen's kids. If you're a stuntman, you shouldn't be allowed to have fucking kids. These kids whose dad died during the making of Deadpool 2, now, like, you think it's any solace to them that there's, like, a thank you before the closing credits?
Not for Deadpool 2.
No.
Spy Who Loved Me might be a little better. Hey, my dad, I never knew him, but that's him in the opening credits. That skis. But Bond always
My dad was a hero. My dad was a hero, Henry. Oh yeah, what do you do? He died in the line of fire. Stunt doubling for Cable in Deadpool 2.
But I mean, honestly, dude, if you're gonna go out as a stuntman, jumping off a cliff as James Bond and then pulling your country's flag out as the parachute—that's a pretty badass way to go.
No, it's a great way to go, and it's how I hope Tom Cruise dies someday.
That'd be amazing.
He's got to, right?
I think he'd want to go that way.
I couldn't agree more. Tom Cruise would love for like the final headline of his career to be like, Cruise dies plummeting off the Burj Khalifa.
That's right. He has achieved OT level what?
Well, I mean, I don't know what he's up to these days, Henry.
Isn't he at the peak?
Well, he was high. I mean, last I heard he was like 7 or 8, but that was like literally 15 years ago. So he might be... He's probably up to 9 now. But that said, I haven't seen him demonstrate his powers, because once you reach OT level 9, you develop the ability of telekinesis.
But we wouldn't know that. He's not going to share that with us.
You don't think he would? To me, if I'm Tom Cruise, I'd be like, look, I wasn't full of shit. I'm OT level 9 now. Zoom.
That would be amazing. Oh, my God. What if all this time Scientology was real and fucking Tom Cruise comes out and he's like, I told you I was going to go for it.
Yeah, everyone who called him crazy, he's going to make a couch jump on them.
That's a Mission Impossible.
Ooh, good one. Okay. Let's.
All right. Oh, by the way, great opening credits, too. Just the actual title sequence.
Yeah. Moody and cool.
Yeah, very beautiful. I like that Roger Moore is actually in them.
Roger Moore.
Cool. Oh, all right. We're working on it, both of us.
Roger
every week.
Moore. It's croaky. That's what I have to focus on. How croaky he is.
Croaky.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I think my
it's
voice
me,
is too
Roger
deep.
Moore. My Roger Moore impression is actually really similar to my Bane impression, Henry. It's like, Bond, James Bond, take control.
Wait, I can do a pretty good Bane. All right, hang on one second, all right. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Is that a line from The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Mr. Wayne. All right.
All right, what happens next, Henry? You want to take the plot a little bit?
Not particularly, but all right.
We've got a villain.
We do. So Bond gets out of Austria, and the plans for a submarine are stolen. He needs to get these plans for a submarine by going to Cairo, Egypt. The Russians are also after this. They send their agent Triple X, and they meet in Cairo.
By the way, Agent Triple X.
Yes.
They don't have a copyright on this, man? Because I think Vin Diesel ripped them off.
Well, it's quite possible. It's family, though, so you don't know.
I don't know if they're family in Triple X, man. He's a spy. I don't know if there's even a love interest in those movies. There's just Sam Jackson as his boss.
Every movie I do.
It's about family?
Family. It's all connected. Riddick.
Boiler Room kind of was. There's a lot of dad issues in that movie.
Family.
Yet another dad issue movie.
Dude, I thought about our conversation when I was watching Perry Mason. And I was just like, another one with dad issues.
I dropped Perry Mason.
I get it.
It's boring.
But this was the week to... Yeah, spoiler
I'm out!
alert. Spoiler alert. This was the week to keep in.
I don't care.
He becomes the lawyer.
So what? To watch the now. This is This is what we have to do in modern times. In the 50s, if I wanted to watch Perry Mason, he's a lawyer by minute 3. He's trying a case, and by the end of the first episode, I know the outcome of the case. New Perry Mason. I have to watch 5 fucking episodes before he passes the bar. Get out of here.
He takes over for Lithgow. Yeah. I get that you're out, though. I was on the verge, but it's 8 fucking episodes, man. Come on.
Season 1. It's an ongoing series.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know if it's doing well.
Well, I also don't think they're going to be making any television shows or movies ever again.
For Barry Mason?
For anything.
Oh, great point. Yeah, I'm waiting on that Handmaid's Tale.
Wait on anything, Henry.
I know, I keep seeing news. I go, Handmaid's Tale 4. Pre-production.
It's such bullshit, man. Now Warner Brothers pulled that Nolan movie off the schedule altogether.
But that's finished.
Yeah.
So release it on. Oh, come on.
They spent so much money on it.
Well, they're gonna have to take a hit.
All right. All right. They're right. They're in Egypt. Bond has some camel gear on.
It's great stuff.
It's pretty bad. There's a couple of Roger Moore dress-up moments in these movies that I was not into.
I didn't mind. I thought this movie had a nice blend of camp and utilizing Roger Moore a little. See, this is the movie for me where Roger Moore finally sort of fits the bill.
This is, to me, a movie that works in spite of Roger Moore.
But you are harsh on Roger.
I never thought anything of Roger Moore before. I always liked his movies. I didn't like them even significantly worse than Connery's. But watching them in order like this is the dumps, man.
See, that was Brosnan for me. That's how I always felt about Brosnan. I think
Brosnan, too good, too bad.
Agreed, but...
And frankly, through 4 movies, I think he's got 2 movies I like and 2 movies I don't like, and 1 good movie and 3 bad movies.
Okay.
Because I like one of his bad movies.
Which
Live and Let Die.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Roger Moore. Right. I think I'm about Pierce. Yeah. No, I disagree.
They're crazy. You need a better presence in these. He just stands there. He looks nice in a suit. He's too old, and he's
50 in this movie,
and he looks it. And Moneypenny looks 80.
Lois Maxwell's been around a while in this movie. Yeah. She goes all the way until View to a Kill, I think.
I can't believe it. And then he fucks her, and then she dies happy.
In bed.
Yeah. All right, they're in Cairo. He's given a lady to bang. I feel like everywhere Bond goes in this movie, like the guy who's in charge is like, "Here's a woman. You can fuck her if you'd like."
That's absolutely true. He finds this sort of harem in the middle of the desert, and they're like old buddies or something. And Bond wants to get right to business, and then the guy says, "Well, I don't think that's what you really want to do." And then he brings over a woman, and Bond's like, "Well, I could make some time for an appetite."
It's a little dry out here in this desert. Would you like me to change that?
What kind of digestive do you have?
Oh. Did you know that camels store water in their humps? And I store humps in my dick.
That's a shag count of 2. It's off screen, but he clearly bangs the harem lady. Shag count of 2. Shag count 2.
Yeah. Then there's a murder and a pyramid. I thought that was pretty cool. Anything involving pyramids, that's perfect for spy genre.
It was great. Yeah. And then we meet the 3rd best Bond villain of all time, henchman. 3rd best Bond henchman of all time, Jaws.
Now, that's interesting, Henry, because I know Jaws is a breakout character, and he comes back in the next movie. I noticed that the listeners of the podcast that post on Letterboxd all hate Jaws.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Not all of them, because I read a couple of reviews. There was a couple of favorable ones, but is that right? Okay, well.
Okay, one, I have a question.
I'm sorry
Is
to
this
hear that.
character named Jaws because the biggest hit movie 2 years ago was Jaws?
I can't imagine that played any role whatsoever. Next question.
Are there multiple uses of shark tanks in this movie because the movie Jaws was a huge hit 2 years earlier?
I don't see them as any way causally related. Next question.
Okay, great.
By the way, you're not wondering who I consider the best two henchmen up to this point.
Henry, it's very clear to me who the top two are before this.
I know you'll get one of them. This is just my opinion.
Odd Job.
Yep.
And that assassin in From Russia with Love.
Ah, all right. Good call. Quint.
Yeah, of course I would include Baron Samadai.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's why you have no room about Jaws. You have no room.
No, I like
What-
Jaws.
What's
Growing,
your take on him?
yeah, I didn't like him as much on this view, but as a kid, I loved Jaws. I was so excited when he came back in Moonraker. I wanted him to be like a regular in the franchise.
Yeah.
He was
I actually-
I totally get why he was a breakout character. He was fun. He's big. He's got the teeth thing. He's sort of handsome in a weird way.
You're a nice guy.
Yeah, he's this giant.
I always thought he was very scary when I was a little kid. He was very frightening.
It's because of the teeth.
Yeah, well, he bites, but you think he's like ripping their throat out. But then, of course, when you watch it now, it's like, what's he really doing? He just snap.
When he bites the cable car in the next movie, like I read beforehand that it was licorice.
You read
And-
beforehand. I read after.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen it before.
It's amazing. It's
Does it
so
look like
clearly licorice.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Richard Keel. R.I.P.
Is he a dead man?
He was an alcoholic, the poor guy, but then he got better and became a born-again Christian.
Wow. What a fascinating tale.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand him kind of wanting to drown his sorrows. He was probably not a great life.
I've got something to say, Henry, about this character.
Sorry. What's that?
You know how we're bringing back a lot of old characters in these Bond movies now?
Yeah.
We got Christoph Waltz as Blofeld and shit.
Yes.
Bring back Jaws, Michael Shannon.
Oh, wow. That's good.
I know.
Plus, he's not super crazy irregular sized. He could fit in the Daniel Craig universe.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
You just
And
pop that metal thing on Michael Shannon's
Yeah.
mouth. You make him a crazy person. It'll be great.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to necessarily even like use his teeth that much to be like comic-y. It could just be there and
Yeah.
they call it Jaws. Yeah. Nice call. He looks like fucking Michael Shannon.
I
dude.
know. I fucking nailed
I don't know.
that
I
one.
think Michael Shannon's done with goofy villain characters after he
I
played,
know. Man of Steel might have broken him.
Yeah, that was it. He was done with that one, man. Yeah.
Has he done anything like that since? What's he doing these days? I feel like I see him all the time.
He did stuff. We thought he was great in Waco.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Anything Shane Wickham's in, they do everything together.
Yeah,
Everything.
they like working together. All that Boardwalk crew. I feel like Paul Sparks is in all that shit, too.
Yeah, you're
All right.
So Barbara Bach, classic Bond girl. I never knew this, and I didn't know it until after the movie was over. This was shocking to me. My entire life.
Positively shocking.
You got to tell the listeners to check that shit out, man.
Yeah.
After in a minute, Barbara Bach. Did you read anything about her?
I read that she was old for the role, that she auditioned for a smaller part and they gave her the lead, and that Catherine Deneuve lobbied for the role, but the Broccolis were unwilling to pay her what she wanted.
Yeah, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
But I never knew this. Barbara Bach is fucking American. She's like from Queens. I never thought that. I always thought she was like a German or something like that, with especially the last name. Never thought. So fooled me, Babs. Never had an idea you were from Queens.
All right. Jesus. Barbara, she's nobody, huh? Never had a career? Oh, I know all about this girl.
Of course you do, because she's married to your favorite Beatle.
Well, not my favorite Beatle. But could you believe that she like threw away her acting career to fuck Ringo Starr for the rest of her life?
Well, maybe
Peace and love.
Maybe nobody does it better.
Then Ringo?
You know,
Everybody does everything better than Ringo.
That would be a great sequel song. Everybody does everything better than Ringo.
Did you see like her film credits are all like Ringo Starr novelty projects? Remember like Caveman and Give My Regards to Broad Street.
Yeah, she was in love.
And they just stayed together. She spent this Bond girl just spent the rest of her life just blowing Ringo.
I have an image of Barbara Bach, in my head that's very pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that to be put into the frame.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what I need in my head, okay? Ringo can just play his little kit, his little wimpy cereal jingle kit.
Gets in between those legs, sticks his tongue out, and goes down on that octopus's garden. Know what I'm saying?
Strawberry Fields Forever. All right.
That's not him. All right.
They're all the same.
They're not all the same. They're so different.
Let's talk about James Bond.
Okay. Hey, Agent Triple X. At first, they're like rivals.
That's right.
But soon they'll like each other, I guess. But she brought up Mrs. Bond from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I lost my fucking mind. And not only that, but they actually, like, Roger Moore reacts. He gets a little sad about it.
Oh, I would say he gets angry, a little angry. I like his reaction.
Yeah, it was so shocking to see him. It was positively shocking to see him like even have an emotion besides like suave.
There's going to be a little bit more of that.
When?
In For Your Eyes Only.
That's next week.
You're going to lose your shit during that.
I don't remember anything about that movie. Who's even the villain?
Some Greek guy. I don't remember.
Some Greek guy. Is he trying to create a master race? Maybe in the mountains? Since we did the sea and space in this one?
Done the sea, done the space. The mountains are a huge part of Your Eyes Only.
Mm-hmm, I bet it is.
Yeah. No, I love that inclusion of the reference. That's got to be that? Yeah, of course, that's the first reference, right? Is there a reference in Diamonds Are Forever to his wife?
Yes. At the beginning of Diamonds Are Forever, he's chasing after the men who killed his wife, but we sort of dispatched that storyline in the first 5 minutes, the pre-credit sequence.
The pre-credit sequence of that is when he is the whole clay guy, Blofeld in the clay, and then emerging from the clay to make a body double. All
right. Well, there's also this. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think you're right. It feels right.
I am right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so confident about so little of this franchise, but I remember that.
All right, well, you're going to really like one moment at least in the next one. But anyway, let's talk about the greatest Roger Moore Bond movie further, shall we?
All right, what's next?
All right, so they go to Cairo. They try to get the microfilm. Jaws, the big long scene with Jaws, kills a guy. Then we go to, we meet Stromberg. They discover that the microfilm is related to Stromberg Industries. And I like this villain, Kurt Stromberg. I think he's good. Played by it's not Kurt Stromberg. It's something Stromberg. It's Kurt Jurgens who's the actor. It's cool. It's a lot of classical music. A cool sequence where we get to meet him, and he brings these two guys in, and you think he's going to kill them. And then he takes his the secretary. He tells her to leave, and she gets in an elevator, and he drops her in a shark tank.
I did like that. Yeah, the shark motif is nice, and I like that we're underwater in this film because I enjoy underwater movies as long as we're not fighting underwater really slowly.
Right.
There's an underwater car in this movie. I appreciate that. But Stromberg, I don't know. This guy, he's like fucking second-rate Blofeld to me.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I struggle with that in these Roger Moore ones because, like, in the Dalton ones, they do well. Really, only in the second Dalton one. You have what's our old friend we covered in Die Hard? What's his name? The great hit, that great pockmarked actor.
Oh, Chucky Cario.
Robert Davi.
Okay.
Robert Davi. So, like, there's not a lot of great individualistic villains. And
no, they're
right.
nobody.
I mean,
it was supposed to be Blofeld in this movie, and they got
Yeah.
something with the rights or whatever. But it's always just some billionaire industrialist who's trying to end the world.
I know, man, but you seem so jaded about a lot of this. I mean, that's part of sort of what it is you're not going to get
I think
Donald
I was
Pleasant.
I think I was appreciating the last couple of movies where there were lower stakes. And then in this movie, we're back to like nuking the world and starting a master race, and the master race is always so ill-defined. They're too scared in this movie to actually do anything with race, and so it's just like a master race of hot people.
Well, that's Moonraker, and that was originally, I read that was actually because Ian Fleming lived during World War II when he was an agent. That was a Nazi was the character of Drax. It was actually, he was a Nazi.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything with it.
No, not in 1979. They weren't going to touch that shit. But I mean, that's in the book. That's what he was.
Not in 1979. I mean, we just lived through the 70s, one of the most electric decades in cinema, where we're doing anything on screen. And these Bond movies, I mean, for the 1970s, these Bond movies are as fucking low stakes and just no risks as you can.
Oh my God, I'm trying, man. You're making this hard. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. But it's not cutting edge cinema. I mean, you know, it's just they're supposed to just be fun, and I mean, they're absurd and stupid, and definitely the Roger Moore era is the dumbest, most absurd era,
and the blandest, I think.
See, that's where we differ because I find I'm sorry to bring it up again, but I just find the Brosnan ones just almost just become like, if you're looking at the Brosnan movies, they aren't that different from a lot of action movies at the exact same time, whereas the Bond movies are very clearly James Bond movies in every way. They're not going to be like other action movies of the 70s, and they might not be as good, but I don't feel that way. I mean, I don't know.
Moonraker, we're just doing Star Wars.
Well, a piss poor rendition of that, but I mean, it's not any. But it's still got the megalomaniac, and it's still got the gadgets, and it's still got it's not like a fast paced.
It's just the same shit. I'm just saying, like, we're on like movies 9 and 10 right now. Give me something. Like, I understand Spy Who Loved Me. I have nothing against Spy Who Loved Me. It's Man with the Golden Gun was a little bit of a disaster for them. This is a resetting. And so it's like a back to basics approach. That's okay. And it's a good movie. I'm talking some shit, but I mostly like Spy Who Loved Me. And it's a fun movie, and I never felt the length. It was, you know, and Roger Moore is pretty good in it. But I mean, Moonraker is just a disaster. It's a nadir. I mean, it's one of the worst movies there is.
I don't agree. I hadn't seen Moonraker in a very long time. It's never been one of my favorites, and it still is not. And just for the record, spoiler alert, Moonraker is a bad movie, but I love it.
You're not allowed to.
Yes, I am, because it's not like this dour, unfocused weirdness that's just poorly edited and shit like Live and Let Die, which I genuinely don't like. Like, I think Moonraker is just this fun, goofy, stupid, bad movie that's totally fucking fun. And it's the last half hour.
If this came out when you were not a child, if you saw this for the first time as an adult, you'd hate this fucking movie.
I mean, I don't know.
Are you kidding me? If they released a Bond movie today where he goes into outer space and has laser battles, you'd be fine with that?
It's 2020, so it's a little different than 1979. I don't think I'd be looking at it through the same lens, you know.
All right, you're. This is trash.
We're not even on Moonraker yet. Oh my god.
Okay. All right. What happens next? They fight Jaws. Look, they fight Jaws in this sort of construction area.
Yeah, it's like a pyramid construction.
Yeah,
area.
it's a level in
decent.
GoldenEye, and they get in this big fight, and the thing collapses on Jaws, and then Jaws sticks his hand out of the rubble like he's fucking Shredder at the end of the Ninja Turtles movie.
That's right.
And then they're wandering through the desert, and they do the Lawrence of Arabia theme, which I enjoyed, but then we pull themes from other movies like 17 times in Moonraker, and I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, they do. They reference a lot of space movies in Moonraker.
That's great.
They do the Lawrence of Arabia in here. I thought that was very nice. I thought that was funny.
All right, so something that happens...
Little Dr. Zhivago, too.
Yeah, great. She is mad at Bond. You know, she's a KGB agent, and
Correct.
Bond killed her lover like a couple weeks ago. And so she vows, when we're done with this mission, I'm going to kill you. Meanwhile, Bond super doesn't care. Like, doesn't even give it a second thought, just wants to fuck her.
Yeah, I mean, she asks him. She figures out that it was him after a while, and then he tells her that it's a risk that we take.
Yeah, okay. So they meet up with M and with the Russian general, and they decide they're going to work together, and they send them off on a train to Sardinia. Okay?
Yes.
On the train to Sardinia, they find Jaws in a closet, and he attacks them, and then, you know, what usually happens on a train, like they throw him out the window or something. And Bond says, he just dropped in for a quick bite, you know, because of his teeth.
Yeah,
and then, don't they fuck at this point?
Yes.
I couldn't believe her fucking him. The man, can you imagine fucking the guy who... She didn't know yet that he killed her...
That's after.
Okay, that's fine.
He used that. He waited to reveal that.
Yeah.
As he's wont to do.
Of course she immediately fucks him after finding out, too. But we'll get to that. They go to this dude's lair or whatever, and they meet him. He's got this cool Aquarian throne room I was kind of into.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, this
Very
is
cool.
kind of my favorite part of the movie. He's playing fucking Raindrop by Chopin, my favorite classical piano piece.
That he is, yeah.
I mean, he's not. His hands are all over the fucking place, but that's what you're hearing on the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a nice little classical score in here. We get a little Mozart, we get a little Chopin. Yeah, he's got some Bach, I believe, when he's feeding the girl to the sharks. He's very a dignified man. He's very classy, Stromberg.
Yeah, it doesn't really like a deep cut or anything. It's all the obvious choices, but
It's Bach in the morning.
yeah, it is.
Bach for breakfast. Yeah.
Oh God, remember all those? He used to be
Sure
like
do.
in charge of those.
That was not my favorite part of my.
What was
my
the
section.
the most relaxing classical music CD you've ever heard in your life ever? Remember those albums?
Yeah, those were bad. Yeah, I preferred the ones that were like the baby ones because it was like, all right, at least I would get a couple of mothers in there who were under the false assumption that playing music in the womb did anything for a kid. But I'd play into it and I'd be like, sure, it's what I've heard. I mean, I'm a sales guy.
Yeah,
for $7
that
an
baby
hour.
is gonna shoot out of your pussy super cultured.
I heard that if it plays Mozart,
Mm-hmm.
it's Mozart. Anyway,
Its first words are gonna be Criterion Collection.
Mama Jacques Tati. And I'll have done my job. Yeah. So it worked out. Yeah.
Mon uncle. Okay. We also
Our baby's first words was Amarcord.
we get like a sexy lady too. He has like a sexy lady employee named Naomi who's like Italian super trash with like like really like just plunging cleavage, and I loved her. She's my favorite character in the movie, and
Oh, okay.
not just because of the cleavage. It's really just for
I
one.
just think it's funny.
It's just for
I
one
heard.
moment. It's for one moment that happens that we'll get to in a second. But she's sort of horning in on their business. They're like the happy couple just off the train, and they just fucked. And now she's like messing with Bond, you know, flirting.
Yes. Yeah, Barbara Bach is not liking that.
Yeah. But then there's a big chase, and that's what I want to talk about because Naomi's not in the movie very much, but she really makes her presence felt. First flirting with Bond with her plunging neckline, and then they're on a chase, and Naomi's in a fucking helicopter chasing them in a car,
Yes.
driving like alongside them on a road's edge.
Right.
And there's this amazing moment where she looks out the window of the helicopter, manages to get eye contact with Bond in the car. They see each other perfectly, no problems.
I wondered about that too.
And she winks at him, really just at the camera. And he sort of, and you get a look at Barbara Bach, and she even notices that she winked, and she's angry, and Bond's like, "Ooh, she winked. Can you believe that?"
Right.
And
Right.
and then it crashes, you know, and she dies. But I loved Naomi just winking at Bond in this helicopter. It's the best moment in the movie. It's the perfect balance of camp and just insanity. And I loved her. She's my MVP.
Wow, that's some. You really valued this movie highly. I could tell. No, that is a moment to grab. Now, is that the sequence that where they crash a guy into the chicken truck and he's covered with feathers and then he gets thrown off the mountain and then he says the great line that
all those
we've
feathers and he still can't fly.
Yeah, you guys have to check out. What was that on? That was on
The
Gervais's
problem, it's
podcast.
on YouTube. The problem is, like, I don't remember the exact episode, but you can maybe Google it. There's an episode of Ricky Gervais's old radio show on XFM in England, in London, and I have at 14 minutes and 10 seconds into one episode, he and Stephen Merchant have a long discussion about Bond's many puns, and it's really great.
And his psychopathy, essentially.
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant's insisting that he's just a psychopath.
A man's dead. Yeah.
You just electrocuted a man in a bathtub, and you said shocking.
All right.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. So they take an underwater car, and she finds out about Bond killing her husband, vows to kill him after this is all through. He's going to nuke New York and Moscow. It's always New York. And they're going to
It's
take...
anti-Semitic.
I don't know. They're going to kill everybody, basically, and then start a new civilization in Atlantis.
It's not like Moonraker. It's not master race stuff. New York and Moscow will think the other fired on each other, therefore starting World War III and obliterating everybody on the earth, and that will give Stromberg the ability to create a new civilization under the sea. Take it from me.
All his rich friends. But, like, I mean, how do you get a ticket under there? Like,
I don't know. I would think it's quite costly.
It's just so weird that, like, it just does. There's no thesis for any of these master races. Like, Hitler knew exactly what he was looking for from his master race. He didn't want any fucking Jews. He wanted blonde hair, blue eyes, like strong golden boys. Right. And, you know, in this one, they're just like, I want people with a certain amount of money in their checking account. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is. It is. We did get that cool car, though, that Lotus, which I got to say I remembered, and I was anticipating it being extraordinarily stupid. I don't know why, and it wasn't. It
No,
was
it's
actually cool.
Yeah,
It was
you know why you think it's going to be stupid? Because they did the flying car in the last one, and it sucked.
Yeah, but they do something nice. See, I think this movie, one of the reasons it works so well is there's little touches. Like, I never noticed before when Bond says to Triple X, he like goes, "Excuse me for a moment," and he walks over to the car. You've never seen the car before, and Q's just standing there. But they don't do the usual funny bit where Q tells him how to operate everything. They just show a long shot of Q basically like opening the trunk and like telling him quietly what the car does, but we don't know what it does.
Yeah.
So then when it goes underwater, it's extra cool, you know? And there's like little moments
They should
like
do
that
more of that. I don't
Yeah.
need Q to fucking describe everything. The Q section in Moonraker is insufferable.
I love every Q section in every movie. I love Q.
I'm not a Q guy, man.
Yeah,
He's not
no,
a sacred cow for me. Bring in John
Uh-huh.
Cleese. I don't give a shit.
No. John Cleese is. I love John Cleese.
A
but
bridge too far?
was a bridge too far. Like for instance, I bet you probably like this moment. I mean, I hope you did when they check into the hotel as like husband and wife. I think they're in Sardinia, and the receptionist says, "That'll be a 2-bedroom." And and Barbara Bach looks at Roger Moore, and he just looks at her, and he goes, "Moneypenny being a little bit too cautious."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like a throwaway line, like Moneypenny. The implication's just so funny. Like,
Well,
she books the room.
that's continuing on my favorite
I love it.
subplot in the Bond films.
Yeah, I love her futile attempts to keep him from fornicating.
Yeah, to keep his fucking dick in his pants.
Meanwhile, though, like you pointed out in Live and Let Die, she enables it by hiding out that girl in the closet.
Well, I think that she's not trying to be like a cock block, but
Right.
she also would rather he's using that cock on her.
Right. On her money, Penny.
Great. So at that, she's gonna kill him, but then he says, "Can I have a final?" Oh, well, first he foils the plan. He gets the two missiles to hit each other, and there's a big atom bomb explosion in the middle of the ocean.
This is the weakest part of the movie. I did not remember how long that fight was between Stromberg's men and the Navy.
Who
That goes
cares?
a
Who
long
cares about
time.
any of it? This
It's
is
like
movies.
It's like 30 minutes long, though. It's like really long. I didn't remember that. Like
Ebert used to say, how many film lovers have watched the great characters get set up carefully for 90 minutes only to watch them be turned into action figures for the last half hour?
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I like Stromberg's death. I think that's cool. I mean, when he foils the plot and he meets him one-to-one, as usual in the Bond films, those are some of the best moments when they just talk. But there's this big action sequence where, like, some parts of it are cool, and I did like a lot of it.
Glazing over.
But I was too at certain points. Like I was just like, oh my god, this is really long. Like it's like this huge submarine takeover, and it goes on a very long time. But anyway,
all right. So my final request is a fuck. Okay.
Right. That was it. She shoots the champagne cork off.
Yeah.
You think she's? Because we all thought she'd kill him, right?
Well, you think she's going to kill him because it would make sense considering he murdered the love of her life only 2 weeks ago. But instead, I guess, like, the only alternative to killing your lover's murderer is to, put him inside of you.
You would be the worst James Bond ever because you don't do puns. You would just tell the woman right there, the spy. It's Spy Daniel Ehrenberg. 0031 for your day of birth.
I think Bond would be better off doing that. I don't know why he bothers with double entendres. Women are falling over themselves to fuck him.
Dan would be like, in there with Barbara Bach. He'd be like, well, I'll tell you what I want. I want to be in you.
I just whip it out.
Right. No talking at all.
Yeah. I don't need to say anything here.
I mean, he's James Bond. He probably doesn't.
All
I
right,
think he gets off on that,
probably. What do you give this movie?
Well, I envisioned this segment going a little bit differently, but that's okay. I love this movie. It's the best Roger Moore Bond. It's 5 stars.
Okay. I give it a 3.
I guess you better change your Letterboxd rating.
I'm going to. It's coming down one.
So it went down.
Mm-hmm.
It's the successive viewings. It has to be.
No, definitely. But, I mean, that's what we do here, man.
Where? Here on the show?
Yeah, here on the show.
We watch things.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, shag count, final shag count of 3.
Great.
That's a 3 shag count.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 shags.
3 shags of this film. 3 different women.
3 different women.
Yeah.
Correct. As you well know. And a 4 count on the
Wait, we didn't do MVP, LVP.
All right, let me just play the song.
I said my MVP is Naomi, the helicopter flying sex pot.
Sorry. Yes, you did. Mine is Jaws.
Okay. And who's your LVP, Henry?
I had a little trouble with this because I like everybody in it, but I think I'm going to go with the club owner of that club. He's very, you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Well, when they go to the club in Cairo, Max Kalba, I think is the character's name. Jaws kills him in a phone booth.
Yeah, kind of.
And the actor's just kind of beyond wooden. He's almost like a statue, and it's supposed to be this big, powerful, villainous character, but he's just kind of wasted. But so that's mine, Max Kalba. Max Kalba.
All right. I don't know. I'll go with M. I didn't like M in this one.
Oh my God, Dan is off the charts tonight. All right, superhero count 4. Richard Kiel. He played a character named Zero in the 1977 television series starring Bill Bixby.
Boy, this sentence,
Hulk.
you could have cut that sentence in half time-wise.
I wanted it to drip and take a while.
Okay, who's next?
He played a character named Zero in The Incredible Hulk. That's pretty cool.
All right, I don't know who that character is.
Neither do I. He was also in a 1961 movie of The Phantom.
Okay.
And he played a character named Big Mike. I didn't know there was. I'd never seen that. 1961 Phantom.
All right.
And he played a character named Vlakabok in 1989 Superboy.
All right, yeah, he made the rounds. He was a big freak. Who's next?
Shane Rimmer.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I said Shane Rimmer.
Sounds like a Bond character.
It's he's the American Navy captain who gets to watch Barbara Bach take a shower in a real pervy sequence on the boat, if you recall that. Well, we know him from, of course, Superman as the Naval Transport Commander, and Superman 2 as the Controller number 2 for the Moon, and in Superman 3 as a state policeman. He's a regular Superman fella, and Christopher Nolan liked him from that, so put him in Batman Begins as well as the guy who controls the water supply to Gotham City, as I'm sure Dan remembers. Very, very, very
Good
detailed.
for him. Good for him.
Okay.
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Started right up in that one.
Starring Bill Bixby.
Yeah.
Brian Marshall, who played Commander Talbot in this, played a character named Dino Moretti in the 1989 movie called The Punisher, and that was starring Dolph Lundgren.
That's the best Punisher movie.
Never saw it.
It's not bad, gang. I'm a defender of that Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. Listen, it's better than all the other bullshit Punisher movies.
I believe that. I've seen some of those. And finally, Bob Sherman, who played an officer on the USS Wayne, crewman. Who could forget that? He was the Pentagon senator in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Shaw. So all 4 Supermans of the Christopher Reeve series are covered in this. He was also in the 2004 Hellboy, playing a television host. And that is it. That is all I have. I'm done.
A scintillating segment, as always.
Thank you very much. I know our listeners appreciate it if you don't.
Well, I do. I appreciate it. I wouldn't... Listen, if you gave me the option, I wouldn't say stop doing the superhero count.
If you gave me the option, I would say, please.
No, you got to do it. It's a staple, man. It was your idea.
Yeah, I know, but ideas are made to evolve into non-ideas.
Listeners, get back to us. Would you be interested in stopping the superhero count?
Why did you have to ask that question?
I want to see what they say.
Yeah, they're gonna say yes.
No, they're gonna say no. I guarantee you, they're gonna say no.
Oh no, that's what I meant. I meant to say they're gonna say no. They want.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna know.
People are unwilling to change anything.
It's true. It's very true. Well, I like that. We're like James Bond in that way. We deliver a reliable product of varying quality.
Mm. We should talk about puns more. I mean, we should do fads more. Hey, Henry, you playing a lot of Animal Crossing? Bro, what'd you think of Tiger King? It's good, right?
That's not bad. I got an email recently from I have to respond to this. William Anastasiou, one of our longtime listeners, asking me how my opinions of the Sean Connery Bonds have changed over time. He's going through all the Bonds right now and listening to our old coverage. Oh, you know this?
Well, I know that he's watching them because I saw on Letterboxd.
Oh, yeah. And he did say something very funny. He said that on one of our Diamonds Are Forever episode, you make a lot of Kanye West references and that they haven't aged well.
Is that true?
That's what he says.
Well, I know that I made a lot of references because he has the song Diamonds from Sierra Leone that samples that song. Throw your diamonds in the sky if you feel the vibe. I remember you getting mad at me for saying that over and over again.
I doubt I was mad.
You were a little annoyed. But I mean, have they aged poorly just because he's a nut now? I mean, he was always a nut.
Right. Well, maybe because it's like what the kids do, you know. They reference like something that's right now it's funny, and then in like a year it's not, you know.
Yeah, man. I gotta keep my shit contemporary. Keep my shit on fleek, bro.
You do. I understand the urge. I make sure my references are at least a quarter of a century
Henry's never made a reference from post 1989.
And I'm safe, though. I'm always safe.
Yeah.
No chance, Henry.
The cutoff, he won't make a Back to the Future 3 reference. Only 2.
I don't even do Pulp Fiction references. Forget it.
Fuck no, bro.
It still might not work. It still might not be cool. It's not tried and tested.
Hell no. Moonraker. Right. Let's talk about it. Gilbert's back to direct. I do think he is a better filmmaker than Guy Hamilton. I don't know what went wrong here. But, I mean, just looking at The Spy Who Loved Me and You Only Live Twice, like, the filmmaking is better.
I agree. I agree. I mean,
I know Guy Hamilton is Goldfinger or whatever. It's a fluke.
I mean, You Only Live Twice and Spy Who Loved Me are just, they're bigger, more ambitious projects. I mean, maybe he can just handle like bigger scale type stuff. I don't know.
Do we know what Lewis Gilbert directed besides Bond movies? He did Alfie. That's his big claim, right?
Oh, and Educating Rita, which I love.
Yeah, I know you do.
I do.
I've never seen it. But yeah, Alfie with Michael Caine. That's his big movie.
No, the Jude Law one.
Not the Jude Law one. Holy shit, that Jude Law Alfie is one of the worst fucking movies.
Is it worse than Moonraker?
Yeah.
Wow, the breath that he just took.
I really thought about it. I could
see that.
I've been doing a lot of ranking, and Henry, have you seen that I ranked every year, everything I've ever seen from that year, best to worst?
No, I have better things to do with my time.
Well, I've been trying to catch up on podcasts, and I don't know what to do with myself while I'm listening to podcasts.
Okay, you don't just listen to them.
I can't just sit there and listen.
All right. So you made a ranking of what now?
I went through every year, and I ranked everything I've seen from that year from best to worst.
Like we did with our 99 list in 2007?
Yeah, but it's not like I would say for Rank High Voltage, I'm thinking way more about like what movies are great and like what deserves to be in what spot.
Okay.
With this, I'm purely going like what brings me delight. Like these are my favorites, pure favorites.
That's fun. I like that. That's fun. So how many years have you done?
Well, I gotta say I've done all the years in film history.
Get the fuck That's not possible.
I did every year 1970 on, and then I ranked all the films from the 60s in one list, all the films from the 50s, and then all the films from the 40s,
Jesus,
and all the films prior to the 40s.
My God.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing with my life lately.
Wow.
Pandemic, baby.
God damn, bro.
Louis
Okay.
Gilbert brought back Christopher Wood to write, the porn guy that we were discussing. They worked on this great film. It was released June 26th, 1979. An enormous fucking budget of $34 million in 1979. And but it was a big hit. Made $210 million. Came in at number 9 at the box office in America between The Jerk and The Muppet Movie. All right.
That's a great statistic.
Yeah.
The Jerk and the Muppet Movie.
Both better movies by a lot.
Moonraker. Yeah, they are. I can't argue that.
Oscars. It did get nominated for an Oscar, Henry. You don't have to do the theme. Best visual effects, but it lost to Alien.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have given it a nomination for best visual effect.
What are you talking about? What about all those pew pews, pew pew?
Yeah,
pew pew.
I hadn't remembered that part. The space station stuff I was okay with. Then they started that stuff. I didn't remember that at all.
It's actually amazing because some stuff looks genuinely ahead of its time. Like,
it looks
really good for 1979.
It really does.
And then every so often, there's a shot where you're like, that's the shot they settled on?
Yeah, I agree.
And you know what? It's not just this movie. It's Spy Who Loved Me, too. Because Spy Who Loved Me is a very professionally made, solid-looking movie. And then, like, every so often, like, at the end, when they pop out of that, the water car.
Yeah, that's bad.
That blue screen, it's so bad.
Yeah, and even some of this stuff in Egypt with, like, the Cairo and the pyramids and that night show with, like, the movie show at the pyramids, there's some stuff there. It's a little surprising. It was almost, like, easier for them to shoot those desert sequences, which clearly were done on a soundstage, but they look good.
I think they were using miniatures for a lot of that desert stuff.
Maybe they were.
Yeah.
Maybe they were. They were on Tatooine.
Yeah. It reminded me of the opening of Team America.
You always reference that, but I've only seen it the one time.
Right. Okay. Anyway, this fucking movie. Hey, can we do this? The Saturn Awards.
Sure.
Do you have a theme?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Obviously, I have a theme for the Saturn Awards. Right. Let me get it. Let me pull it right out here. It's Saturn is between Uranus and Neptune. Saturn, whoa, sci-fi blessed films.
I'm pretty sure Saturn comes before both Uranus and Neptune.
You're right, but I didn't write the theme. So,
yeah, I also think you had a I was asking if you had the theme we used on the Award Bros Order Up crossover.
I don't think we had one.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure you did. But anyway, the Saturn Awards, we broached this award show on the Patreon recently, which you can subscribe to for $5 at the, patreon.com/thefranchise. And
at the box office.
And so I love the Saturn Awards. They are a genre awards show. They nominate stuff in the categories of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. The Bond films have not up to now been eligible, But I have great news for you, Henry. Moonraker has some noms as a science fiction film.
Oh, sure. It's heavy sci-fi.
Yeah. It was nominated, Henry, for Best Science Fiction Film of the Year. It lost to Alien.
I think that's a pretty clear winner.
Is that good? Richard Kiel, Henry, nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Genre Film. All right? And he lost to a fella by the name of Artie Johnson for Love at First Bite.
Love at First Bite.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
I believe that's a George Hamilton vampire film.
Oh, wow.
Am I right about that?
George Hamilton, baby. I don't know. It sounds right.
Hamilton. They should do a Hamilton parody with George Hamilton. Is that a good idea?
That'd be a great idea. I like that a lot.
It is. He's George Hamilton plays Dracula in that film, Henry.
Oh, I think I've heard. Is that a comedy?
It is a comedy. It's directed by Stan Trigati, one of my favorite directors of 80s comedy movies. He followed up Love at First Bite, Boom, 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 Henry, with Mr. Mom, The Man with One Red Shoe, Tony Danza's She's Out of Control, and Necessary Roughness. All great.
Mr. Mom, I love. And you're a fan of Necessary Roughness, if I'm not mistaken.
Huge fan. And a huge fan of She's Out of Control, in which Tony Danza desperately wants to fuck his daughter.
I remember that movie when it came out. Who's the female in that?
She's a young kid. I
not.
don't remember. I don't think it's a famous person, is it?
I don't know. I remember that movie. That's all.
I'm looking it up. The lead female in that, well, I'll tell you, Catherine Hicks was the stepmom.
Ah, yes.
But the daughter was young Amy Dolenz. Now, I wonder if she's related to Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees.
I think she is.
It doesn't say, but who knows? Could be. Oh, yep. Oh, she is the daughter of Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. How about that, Henry?
There you go. Yeah. Saturn Awards. Saturn.
Oh, yeah, one more.
Better?
No, it's not. But it was nominated for Best Visual Effects as well, but it lost to Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like Moonraker's set design is much better than its special effects.
I mean, nothing's good.
I disagree. I think Drax's ship is pretty nice, and his state.
Fucking what the villain, Drax the Destroyer. I mean, what are we doing? All right. The film opens with James Bond. He's wearing a turtleneck. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
See that.
He's about to fuck a stewardess, but then she turns out to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And
that was a pretty cool stunt. I mean, I get, it's like a skydiving sequence.
Yeah. Jaws shows up. Yeah. Jaws shows up, pushes him out of the plane. They're flying through the sky, and they land on a circus tent for no reason.
That was really embarrassing.
And then you get a real half-ass Shirley Bassey theme song.
Yeah, the theme song, I mean, I watched these back-to-back, and, I'd always thought that the theme song for Moonraker got a little unnecessary flack. But on the heels of Ms. Simon, it's not very good.
It's not horrible, but can you imagine a universe, Henry, in which Shirley Bassey is performing live and she does a Bond medley and she doesn't just do a snippet of this in the middle of the two good ones?
Well, that's what she does. Did you read that?
No, does it say that?
Well, she does a medley of Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever and Moonraker.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it must be that she goes, Diamonds Are Forever, and the crowd goes nuts, right? And then, like, she does Moonraker, and they're like, what's going on here? And then she gets him back, Goldfinger!
Yeah, it's definitely like, it definitely like opens, I think, like Goldfinger.
When the Moonraker theme starts, you just know there's like one guy in every audience who goes, "Woo!"
She goes into the thing. She looks in the audience, and for the lyric for Moonraker, she goes, "Where are you?" And the guy's like, "Yeah,
Right here.
and then she's like, "Diamonds are forever."
Throw your diamonds in the sky if you feel the vibe.
She says one line from Moonraker, and it's just enough to say she did it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Moonraker. She's not going to do the whole song? No, she's got to do Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever. Come on.
No. What she's going to do is the songs that people like.
Hey, listen, honey. Sorry, it's not going to be a Moonraker night.
Okay, so what happens? We get she goes see Moneypenny and all that, and gets sent on a mission. All right. He goes to the Drax.
Give Dan a shot of B1 tonight, I think.
He goes to the Drax compound to meet our new villain. I mean, there's barely even any setup beyond that. It's just sort of like, Bond, you're going to go meet the villain of the movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is all true. Yeah.
The exterior shot of the Drax compound is very clearly a still photograph that they just stay on for like 5 seconds for no reason.
Of clearly some royal's palace.
Yeah.
That's all.
Terrible.
And, we meet Drax, and it's played by the French actor from Munich.
Oh, Drax is
for
playing
first
is
time
the one
ever.
playing the Chopin piece, by the way. I had that wrong.
You're right, because he's playing it in that like palatial
Yeah.
room. No, but I can see the confusion. There's a lot of classical...
Because they're basically the same villain. They're just two rich
pretty-
industrialists who are trying to start a master race.
Right. Well, one wants a master race. The other one just wants rich people underwater.
But he wants to kill everybody else in favor of the people he deems superior.
Right. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's all these Bond movies.
No, I thought it meant... I meant it sounds like Trump.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, we do
a
have
virus-
we have a
virus
Hitler
taken
in
out.
office right now. We know that.
Virus takes out everybody, and some...
What? You trying to spread a conspiracy theory that Trump started the coronavirus?
No, I'm just saying, it's not under control very well. He's
No.
not that smart. You know that, and I know that.
No
Bond
one.
villain would destroy him.
What? He is a Bond villain. Bond
He
would
is-
destroy him. Is the answer?
Yeah. But I mean, he doesn't have like the vision of a Blofeld.
I guess not.
No.
He'd finance it, and then there'd be like a visionary guy, and then there'd be a henchman.
And then he'd kill him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Henry. Let's talk about it. He meets Drax, and we also meet his henchman Chang, which is a real poor excuse for a henchman, and also his doctor, Dr. Holly Suckstick. Dr. Holly, fuck my face. Dr. Holly, come in my mouth. Her actual name is Dr. Holly Goodhead.
It's Dr. Goodhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dr. Goodhead.
Dr. Gag Reflex.
Is that a Hungarian name? Gag Reflex?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Lois Childs. She's my MVP.
She's okay.
I think she's cool. I always like when there's an American Bond girl. It doesn't happen in this era very much, and I thought she's cool.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
she apparently got she like auditioned for a previous Bond movie, and then she sat down next to Lewis Gilbert on a plane,
Yeah, I read.
and he gave her the role. Yep.
I hope that plane ride was pleasant for both of them.
I'm just saying, Dr. Goodhead, there's a very easy way to manipulate that casting couch situation. I think they're looking for some very particular sets of skills from that character.
Oh, my dear, have a seat. Would you like window? Oh, no, no, no. Nobody will be disturbing us now. I took it you wanted to be in a Bond film earlier. Is that correct? Yes. Let's see. I might have a space available for a character named Dr. Goodhead. Stewardess.
She's not a stewardess. She's a doctor.
No, then he calls the stewardess.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I'm reenacting the scene.
Oh, tell me about the role. What's her motivation?
Stewardess, see to it that we're not disturbed for a little bit. A wee while. Now, Lois, speaking of motivations and scene.
Okay, so she's introduced to Bond. Bond is like, a woman doctor? What?
He's shocked.
And she's like, yeah. And she shows him around the facility. She puts him in the vomit comet. Somewhere Bill Paxton's going, hey, we did that on the set of Apollo 13 in training. Ask me something totally unrelated in an interview, and I'll tell you about it for an hour.
Aw, that's not nice, but that's a very good Bill Paxton.
Thank you.
That's very good. Is that what they did? Does he talk about that? I don't know about
any interview you've ever read with Bill Paxton, he goes on and on about the time they did the vomit comet preparing for Apollo 13.
That's the movie he picks to talk about?
That's what he wants to talk about.
Fucking guy was in Aliens. Jesus.
Yeah. All right. So Bond, there's an assassination attempt. Chang sneaks in and makes the vomit comet. That's the thing where you go around in circles really fast when you're preparing to be an astronaut. He goes really fast, and he survives, no problem. He's doing great. And they turn the thing down, and Bond gets out, and he's like, a bit faster than I was told it would be. And she's like, I don't know what could have happened. I'm a fucking dummy, even though I'm a doctor. And then he's
Dan is reminding me of me during the Weekend at Bernie's episode. He just wants nothing to do with these movies. Oh my god.
No, I do though, because I like watching them. They're
fun.
I mean, this one wasn't very fun for me. This was a slog.
See, I still had fun. I didn't feel like it was a slog.
I was slogging through this one.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not like it's lost on me, but it's just so silly and stupid. And
I stopped taking notes at a certain point. I was like, this sucks. That's my last note.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I like how about the trolley sequence with in Rio de Janeiro? That was the licorice and them getting started. That was cool.
No, I mean, no, it's not, but it's fine.
Jesus.
Can we talk about Corinne? That's another character Bond meets at this facility. And she's a helicopter pilot. It's established that she doesn't know how to read. And Bond fucks her. Shag count. The next day, they're hunting pheasants.
Wait a second. Wait, he does it with Corinne?
Yeah, he fucks her. In that big room, there's like a big bed chamber.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a shag count of 3 here, so I was trying to remember who they.
I mean, that's definitely one of them. He fucks her.
Okay.
And Chang spies on them fucking, and then the next day he tells Drax about it, and Drax sends some dogs after her.
Right. Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, some Rottweilers. That was pretty bad.
But before that, you get a great joke where it goes boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's a bugle call, and they use it. They use it from 2001. Which, by the way, of course, that's what.
What's better, that or Moonraker?
Did Stanley Kubrick consult on Moonraker too?
He should have, man.
Yeah,
could use more brand names.
You get that, and then you get also one of Dan's favorite movies. You get a reference to the theme from Close Encounters.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, it's like the password to get into a secret room.
And they asked Steven Spielberg for permission to use that, which I thought was pretty funny.
Right, and then Spielberg got to use the Bond theme in Goonies. That was the trade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. That's pleasant.
Hollywood. So fucking incestuous.
Yeah, they are. It's
disgusting.
It is disgusting.
All right.
It's disgusting that that's like even a problem. Like, I wonder if Steven will give us rights to, I don't know. We could call him and ask him. Yeah, for Moonraker, sure. They can use it for, that's it, though. Just the code.
Mm-hmm. So then there's this chase in Venice. There are two boat chases in this movie.
There are two.
And it's as boring as it sounds.
But they're not as long as the boat chase in...
together I think they are.
Well, sure, but who's combining boat chases?
It goes from set piece to set piece in this movie. There's like no time between anything. And so like I'm not that interested in the action. It's 1979. They're not blowing me off the screen with this action. And so like it sucks. It's just boring.
Okay, great show. Yes. What do you give it?
All right. He gets in the fight with Chang.
No, I don't care.
Throws him out a window. He lands on a piano. He says, "Play it again, Sam."
That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bad. And then he gets Jaws, which I guess
Jaws replaces Chang.
Yeah, he's like a freelance hitman, which I hadn't really gathered from the first movie.
Well, see, what happened was he was a popular character, and they wanted to bring him back.
Oh, they hadn't worked out his backstory at that point?
I don't think it mattered for a single second. I don't think that played... I don't think it ever once came to them like, does this work in plot terms?
Christopher Wood didn't stay up at night trying to work on that draft?
No. It was decided Jaws was coming back, and so they put him in the script.
Yeah, because then there's the sequence with Drax on the phone, and he just goes... Oh, well, yes. If you can get him, then that would be great. Literally,
I actually liked that scene.
Yeah,
because you never see villains like doing busy work like that.
Right, getting acquired. He's acquiring help.
Like I wish there was a scene in the first Batman movie where like the Joker like designs his henchman's suits, and then like brings it to a tailor.
Yeah. Yeah, so Jaws comes in again. Now, I mean, I don't know where we are here in the plot, but eventually we get to space, and it's... only the final 30 minutes of the whole movie take place in space, which is surprised me.
Yeah, it reminded me of Jason Takes Manhattan.
Because they're only in Manhattan for the final 25 minutes. Yeah, I found that funny. I did not recall that at all being the case. And what I did recall, and I do mean this truly, I recall being even about 8 or 9 or 10 years old or whatever, and thinking this was stupid then. And I thought maybe with age I'd mellow and think it's funny and cute.
The space stuff in general?
No.
Okay.
Jaws' girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't realize you were talking about Jaws' girlfriend. I'm so sorry.
That's quite all right.
Mm-hmm. I love Jaws' girlfriend, I'm sorry to say, and she's my MVP.
Oh my! She's my LVP.
She's cute.
Dolly.
It's cute that he has like a little girl.
It's cute, but I also like Jaws' what do you call it when they turn bad to good?
Face turn.
Face turn. I like the face turn.
I don't. No. That's very, very stupid. And so, like, just Jaws being in this movie is stupid. And so, like, why not just go for it and give him stupid shit to do?
Is it stupid that he's in the movie?
I mean, it's not stupid in general, but to make him a good guy in this movie just because he's a popular character is crazy. Can you imagine that if, like, in fucking Thunderball, they just brought back Oddjob and he was like, we're pals now?
Well, I guess there's, like, a pathetic quality to Jaws, right? Because he's, like, this sad kind of...
Right, but they take that away as soon as... Like, I think they didn't want to deal with the pathos of Jaws. So to put him with like a cute girl, then all of a sudden like people like him.
I just I don't understand how you didn't think it was the apotheosis of the campiness of the movie to give him a pigtailed, silly 4-foot girlfriend.
It is. I just think that like if you're gonna make this really stupid movie, the thing I'm gonna like is probably gonna be the number one stupidest thing.
You bring up a fair point. For you. Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, because the space stuff, like, I can see how that could appeal to me, but I just wasn't into any of it. It's so Star Wars-y. Like, it's so blatantly, disgustingly Star Wars-y in terms of the outfits they're wearing, in terms of the weapons they're using. It's ridiculous.
You know, I think what it is that I think one of the reasons I just don't think of Star Wars is just because I always knew this movie as like a separate entity, and so it was always just such a fucking Bond movie to me that I mean everything, obviously all of that is all true, everything you're saying, but it's so separate to me. I never intermingled them together.
That's just because of when you saw it for the first time. I'm not giving you shit. Like, I'm not trying to like judge you for having nostalgia for a film, but
no, I know.
Yeah. But I really think that's why. I think when you're growing up, like, you don't understand context. I always think about how I thought every cartoon was current. I would watch, like, Woody Woodpecker and the Flintstones and the Ninja Turtles, and I thought they were all coming out in 1988.
And you didn't realize that they were all coming out when I was born, 1958.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. It's funny because I got too tempted to look on Letterboxd and for the reviews of Moonraker, and there are more favorables than I was anticipating.
No, because there's always going to be Bond fans that dig this. I think Drax is a villain that Bond fans tend to have some time for. I think some people just are tickled that Jaws is back because he is such a beloved character. And, you know, the height of Bond campiness, there's certain... You know, like how I love Batman and Robin. I think there are probably people that love this on that level.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I don't generally like a lot of the campy ones. I really don't. I mean, I don't. And I mean, that's why I always just found like The Spy Who Loved Me to be the best one. And even going forward, I think For Your Eyes Only, to my recollection, is a tad on the grittier side, but that's not saying much for Roger Moore. But this one is ridiculous and over the top. But, you know, it's fun to watch. I mean, I had fun watching it. I mean, I feel like you felt like this pretty much like I felt about Live and Let Die. It just does not work for you.
It's just over 2 hours. I didn't have enough fun. And, like, it's not Bond. It just doesn't feel like James Bond to me. It's not anything that I want out of a James Bond movie.
Yeah. I just think I mean, it's not my favorite iteration of Bond. It's not my favorite Bond, and it's not my favorite James Bond actor. But I still I don't know. You know.
Also, the plan. Can we talk about the plan a little bit?
Sure.
He wants a race of hot people.
Yes.
Okay, fine. He's going to gas Earth and then wait for the gas to dissipate and then bring all the hot people back to Earth and restart it?
I don't know how that would work.
I don't really know how that would work either. Also, we get a look at his choices for the hottest people of all time. And one thing I thought was interesting was that...
There's some black people.
No. There's one.
Okay, there's
one of each, Henry. This is
Asian
what he
girl.
decided. It's all hot white people, and then one hot Asian girl, one hot black girl,
right?
And that's it. One Latina, and that's how it goes on.
Latina. There was a Latina.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. And like, so how is he gonna manage this? They're gonna all fuck and like restart the human race. All these hot people. What if the black girl? It sucks the best dick. Like, they're all going to want to fuck her, and then your plan's done. All the kids are going to be half black.
What if some of the people he picked are gay and they don't procreate?
What happens then?
Drax is fucked.
Is Drax going to be part of this? Is he fucking these girls?
He seems so
How
asexual.
many are there? How quickly are we going to restart the human race? We have to wait 9 months between all these pregnancies.
One of the funny practical thoughts that went through my head, which happens every once in a while in these funny Bond movies, was that when he's outlining his plan to Bond, the first thought that went through my head was, yeah, but Drax is probably like in his late 50s. Like, he's not even going to be around to see a lot of this happen. So, like, is he going to be cryogenically frozen and come back and see his life's work?
Yeah, I mean, his second in command at this point is Jaws. Is he expecting Jaws to shuttle everyone back to fucking Earth? I mean, he could, because at the end of the movie, Jaws gets into a space shuttle and flies back to Earth on his own. Not on his own, with his girlfriend Dolly.
Her pigtails are doing the driving.
After saying something, by the way. I didn't know he talked.
I love that. That was great.
Here's to us.
Cool. I like that. That was very sweet, you know. I dug his face turn. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I liked it because of Dolly.
All right, that's fine. But I thought it was like, it made sense because Roger Moore points out an obvious fact that's staring us at 7 feet tall. What would happen to somebody like Jaws in this new utopia? He would be exterminated. So that's all Jaws needs to hear. And Jaws is like, you know, okay, I'm abandoning what I've been doing my whole life. I'm going to stop killing and biting people. I'm with you, Raj.
He's Southern?
Was that Southern?
Sounded Southern.
I'm Richard Keel. I'm Jaws. I'm going to stop biting people.
You sound like fucking Dusty Rhodes.
Come on, Dolly. We got a plane to catch.
All right, Henry. What do you give this movie?
3 stars.
Really?
It's 2 on Letterboxd. I'm going to bring it up a notch. I had a good time watching it. It wasn't as horrible as I was thinking it was going to be.
This is a 1, man. This is the worst Bond movie. This is the nadir of the franchise so far. I am open to disliking The World Is Not Enough or Die Another Day more than this because those are horrible. But I really think this is bad, and we have found a Bond movie that I think is worse than Thunderball.
Well, Thunderball's amazing, so, I mean...
in my rankings, though, it has been last all along.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so far in all these Bond movies, there's really just... I mean, Live and Let Die is a nadir for me. And
Not even close.
Yeah. Live and Let Die, and this is close to that. I mean, but I still think it's got enough in it. I mean, I gave Live and Let Die a 2.
You think that's you think Live and Let Die is worse than this?
I do not like anything in Live and Let Die. The whole movie to me just has the wrong tone. It just does not work. I do not like that movie. I never have.
This sucks, man.
No.
Hey, I just saw Baron Samedi in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
Holy shit!
He's in that.
Another bad movie.
That's okay.
I never liked Boomerang. That was Eddie just starting the decline.
He's trying out a rom-com. Not really working out, but it's all right.
No.
But his best friends are David Alan Grier and Martin Lawrence, and they're real good.
I remember that.
And Halle Berry is just like off the charts amazing. In 1992, she's just gorgeous.
She's a great actress.
Great actress. Henry, what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? I forget. Same thing that happens to everything else?
What did we just talk about that from?
That's from X-Men.
X-Men.
Okay. Henry, who's your MVP?
Wait, can you say it like she says it in the movie?
What happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
Wow, that's Halle Berry in X-Men.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's your MVP?
Get with a chopper. Lois Chiles. She's charming.
I hate Holly Goodhead. I think she sucks. She's just a fucking idiot. She's just
worse
a fuckhole. That's all
worse.
She is. She is worse than Goodnight. I give
Oh my god.
MVP to Dolly, little Dolly. Who's LVP?
You're fucking nuts. That's my LVP. Yeah. So you give it a 1.
Well, I
So
didn't say my LVP, Henry.
Oh, who's your LVP?
I'm gonna go with Chang.
Chang's not very good.
Chang sucks.
Chang sucks. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I have a prediction that I don't like to do this often because it's never pans out well for me. But I think that the worst Roger Moore Bond is actually A View to a Kill.
Okay, well, we're covering it next week.
Worse than Live and Let Die, in my opinion. But not next week, 2 weeks. But we'll see. I have a feeling that you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're going to find enough stupid shit in that movie that you're going to walk away a fan.
Okay, well, we'll find out, man. I don't remember anything about that shit.
You don't?
No. These later Roger Moore ones, I don't... like, I've seen these, like Live and Let Die, Moonraker, Spy Who Loved Me, a few times a piece. Yeah. I don't know that I've ever seen... I've seen Octopussy a few times.
You had to have seen Octopussy.
I've only seen For Your Eyes Only and the other one...
View to a Kill.
Yeah, I haven't seen those more than once, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm interested for sure.
I might have seen A View to a Kill a second time. I don't know.
Great song.
Is that the Duran Duran one?
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What a great... Hey, superhero count for this, baby?
0.
Great. Love it. Let's wrap up, Henry. What a fun time. As always, happy birthday to you.